people of the interwebs. How's everybody doing? Bam Ozzy, Joe Hervey, 84, that is. Good to see everybody. I haven't done one of these in a while. Dave R's Guitars, good morning, sir. Stingray GBG. Mike Rohde, welcome to you all. Michael D. Black XLC. Morning, everybody. Oh, man. So, as I mentioned, I haven't done a live stream in the last several weeks. And you'll bear with me a few minutes here while I get going, because I literally just got out of bed here about 10 minutes ago. But anyway, I haven't done one of these here in the last few weeks, and just been busy. A lot of stuff going on. Other things with the to keep this channel rolling along here. I think last week, my wife had a rare Saturday off, so I needed to get my video editing done as soon as I can, or as soon as I possibly could, so that I could spend the remainder of the weekend with her. And the week before that, there was something going on the week before that, and I can't remember what it was. Was that 4th of July weekend, maybe? That may have been what it was. I don't know. Doesn't matter now, but so yeah. It's been a little bit. Missed you guys. How has everybody been doing? And I just clicked on something, and I don't know what I just clicked on. Okay. Create highlight. What does that do? I'm trying to get okay. Something I'm probably not going to mess with. All right. Yeah. Hey, David Gabe is here with us. Good morning, David. How's your foot feeling? David Gabe got a new Peppers pedal. Says, I got the new Peppers pedal Rad X today. Peppers pedals, I'm just now discovering them, and I've done 3 videos on them, I think. I think 2 of them have gone up. The most recent one, being, I think what was that? Was that the Satanist Distortion? I think it was the last one that I did, or the last one that went up anyway. And that one has become one of my new favorite distortions. And unfortunately, I have to send it back to Park Kingery here fairly shortly. Gwen's Deranged Hartley Hooligans Fun Channel. That's an interesting YouTube name. It says, hey, Robert, took you long enough. Yeah, no, sorry, I'm running a few minutes behind this morning, but that's okay. So, man, that coffee is hot. Yeah, so I've got of the stash of pedals that Park gave me, or not gave me, that he sent to me and loaned them to me, specifically for the purposes of doing YouTube demos. I'm down to, I got one left to do. So I just finished recording one last night anyway, and that one I got to edit, and so that one should be live here another couple of weeks, and I will do the final one here this coming week. So, Stingray GBG says you should build one of those eBay guitar kits sometime. I think that would be cool. Oh man, believe it or not, in my experience, those those eBay kits, and of course you can get them in several other places like I think Guitar Fetish and places like that. Believe it or not, there is still a fair amount of a fair amount of precision involved in building those things, and I'm just to be honest, I have no interest in building guitars, none. It's not something that interests me at all. I think the last thing the world needs is one more Partsocaster. It's just not something I have an interest in. I like buying them, and I like collecting them, and I love playing them, but building them something I've just never is not something that an interest that's ever grabbed me. So I don't know. Maybe I'll do something like that on the channel one of these days, but we'll see. Let's see. I saw something here earlier, just a minute ago. So Bam Mozzie had a case study that was nominated, which sounds like it was a pretty big deal. Congrats. Dave is getting all settled into his new place. Cool. Which Arizona, I think, is where you said you were going. Hopefully, you haven't stepped on any scorpions or anything yet. At least not barefoot. All right. Let's see. David says he got 3 new. He says you got 3 new pedals. Are those all? You got the Rad X, the Mammoth Custom, and the Kinetosis Chorus. Are those all Peppers pedals? Gwen's Deranged Hartley Hooligans Fun Channel. Robert, what is the thickness at the edge of your blonde Les Paul copy? Near as I can tell, it's pretty much the same thickness as as a actual Les Paul. The body of that guitar anyway is pretty close in dimension and shape and dimension to an actual Les Paul. But with all the the Play Authentic stuff and all that kind of the lawsuits that are getting thrown around like water right now, I'm not going to pull it out on the channel here anytime soon. So I just because I don't some of those laws are pretty stiff, and they're I've heard horror stories, not necessarily over anybody playing a fake Gibson, but some pretty weird stuff of people's entire channels getting shut down and demonetized and stuff. I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm not gonna get rid of it. I'm not gonna just because I'm like I don't want to be the guy that's selling a fake Gibson on the used market, so I'll keep it. But I doubt I'm gonna use it for any videos here in the foreseeable future. Let's see, where's it got? All right, okay. Dave picked up a couple of new Jacksons, SL2 and SL2Q. So you got a soloist and a soloist with a quilt top, sounds like. I think that's what the Q stands for. Awesome guitars. I've never had a Jackson Soloist. I do have a Charvel Model 5 that was for all intents and purposes, a Japanese Charvel Jackson Soloist back in the late 80s. Mine being an 87, but I've never actually owned a Jackson Soloist. David Gabe says, "Hey Robert, you still want to buy my Empress Heavy? I might sell it, and you're the only guy I want to go to. Needs a special home for a special pedal." Oh man, I would love to have one of those, but the truth is, my gear buying budget is going to be, is pretty much drained for the remainder of the year. And the reason why is because I am taking my wife on a week-long trip to Mexico in September. So we are going to Cancun. Joe Hervey says, "My New York Giants wide receiver keep getting hurt, and now Tate facing 4-game suspension for steroids." I read that this morning, but Adam Schefter from ESPN actually reported that. But he says that, Golden Tate is planning to fight it and thinks that he really does have a case. So who knows? Maybe he does have a case. I haven't heard Schefter's opinion on it or anything, but so we'll see. Yeah, David Gabe. Yep. David Gabe says he has no interest in building pedals either. I tried to get Robert to go to a lab with me. You are correct. I do not have any interest in building pedals either. I don't have time, man. I don't have time. I barely got time to restring my own guitars when they need it. And even then I gotta, sometimes, figure out when I'm gonna have time to do that. I've got half a dozen guitars that need strings right now, and and I just, probably gonna have to take part of the day out of the afternoon tomorrow, to get all that done. God forbid you forget to connect the ground wire. You'll end up with Einstein's hairstyle even though you're bald. Yep. Yeah, that sounds like something I would forget to do too. So. Okay, so all those pedals that you mentioned earlier, Pepper's pedals. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Yep, the ones of his that I've gotten to play so far, I've been pretty impressed with. Man, that Tony Peppers knows what he's doing when it comes to designing and building pedals. So, Dave's getting settled into the Arizona atmosphere, which is quite a bit different from where you were. Pardon me. Wow. Quite a bit different from where you were, which I believe was Portland area, if memory serves. Those are two totally different parts of the country. Joe Hervey says, "Dave, I want a Helix, but can't afford it. Tried for a credit card, still waiting. I think I'll grab the Viper amp. Keep saving. Sucks. Feel like I've been needing an amp for 2-3 months." Yeah, those Helix processors are pricey, man. David Hill from the Practical Guitarist, he just sold his, but that's because he just recently got a Kemper, and is he in love with that Kemper. Man, every week when they start the show nowadays. He's talking about the new thing that he figured out that his Kemper will do. I do enjoy listening to those guys. Those guys are. It's a good podcast, and a lot of fun to listen to if you're into guitar gear. So, Park, did you order the 212 Harley Benton cab? Those are supposed to be awesome. I mean, they come with actual vintage 30s and everything. I mean, those are like, and they're only like $250 shipped if you're here in the U.S. anyway. And I think they're coming from Germany or something. Man, two Ibanezes. Man, you guys, Michael D's got two Ibanezes on order. Man, I want some new guitars. I've got a Schecter that I got my eye on, but I'm still kicking around selling the Vester, and I might just sell the Vester so that I can buy the Schecter, and then in which case, I don't know. I haven't decided. I could also just hold out and wait and save up some money and recoup a few things, but I don't know. We'll see. Hey, Angelo Ricchetti's here with us. Happy Saturday, Angelo. Let's see. 112. Yeah, those power cabs are cool. Ben Mozzie says I want a Helix floor and probably a 112 power cab. Not sure the power cab would be too much for home use, though. Certainly the new 212 would be too much, including too much money as well. Yeah, but God, those power cabs are really cool. Everybody's kind of going big on the FR thing, and like the Head Rush FR. Here's the Head Rush is one of the in music brands, and let's see if I can. There we go. This drives me crazy. Head Rush is one of the in music brands, as is Alto, as is Alesis, among many others, but those three in particular. If you look at the Head Rush FR cab, for all intents and purposes, it's a PA speaker. And they're not even for all intents and purposes, it is a PA speaker. And I encourage you to get on any manufacturer's website that carries the in-music brands, or any retailer's website, rather, and look at the back panel of all three of those. The Head Rush FR, the Alto TS312 powered PA speaker, and the Strike Drum, what's it called? The Strike Drum amp or something like that. The Alesis Strike Drum amp. The back, other than the logos, the back panels on all three of those are exactly visually identical. And I've talked to a few people who tried to figure out if there is any actual difference in the design. And in music, or Alesis or Head Rush, none of them will actually, they'll dance around it, and they won't give you a real straight answer. They'll be real vague about it, and kind of trying to make you let people believe that there might be a little bit, there might be some slight differences between the three, but not actually coming out and saying it. So that's what those are. So I guess by that theory, a PA speaker, which I'm sure a lot of people already are aware, PA speaker is a real good tool for not just modelers, effects modelers and stuff, but they're good for acoustic guitar amps and drum amps and keyboard amps and all that kind of stuff. Plenty of power and lots and lots of flat clarity, flat response, and all that kind of stuff. But in music, wants to try to make people believe that they are coming out with all this groundbreaking, technology with all these, different instruments, and it just, that's what drives me nuts. I mean, it's just marketing at its finest, but I don't know why it drives me crazy, but it does. However, Line 6 got it right with the power cabs. And the power cabs, those things sound really, really cool. And, they do a lot of different things. And specifically for effects modelers, whether it's a Helix or it's a Kemper or it's a, an Axe FX or, a Boss, whatever it might be. Those things are really, really cool. And, if I ever decided to dive into the back into the effects processor world, and I highly doubt I'm ever going to because they're just not my thing. But if I did, I don't know that I would buy any of them without buying a Line 6 power cab to go along with them these days. So hats off to Line 6 on those. Pardon me. Any thoughts on the recent hype surrounding BC? Black XLC says, any thoughts on the recent hype surrounding BC Rich and the restructuring and teasers they've dropped? Yes, thank God. And from the photos that I have seen, and I'm taking this with a grain of salt, but the new line of BC Rich acoustic guitars, or not acoustic guitars, but new line of BC Rich guitars in general actually look pretty good. There's still a few questions that have not been answered. Where are these things being made? How much are they going to be? I still don't. It still hasn't been made real clear to me, who is now running the company since Practice stepped aside after they just about ran them into the ground. But it still isn't real clear to me, who is the, who the new management who the new management is or anything like that. But yeah, I think it's. I am going to remain optimistic until I have reason to believe otherwise. So, and like I said, the photos and stuff that I have seen so far, a lot of those look like some pretty sweet guitars. So, if you're a BC Rich fan, if you're not a BC Rich fan, you probably think they're the stupidest things you've ever seen. But for guys like me that love BC Rich, we're excited. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Joe Hervey 84 says, Robert, you like the GC acoustic amps, right? I got the 8-inch version. Such a cheap amp. I want to upgrade ASAP. It's not a bad amp, just not the best. You know what I mean? I have a few pedals. I like the acoustic brand bass amps, and I like the acoustic brand acoustic guitar amps. The electric guitar amps leave more than a little to be desired for me. So, I don't. Which one are you? You have the 8-inch, and I don't know. Let's see. You have the 8-inch, and I'm not sure which one. If that's an acoustic guitar amp, I'm not sure. So, Michael D says, nice, Robert. I'd love to go to Acapulco, but now the drug cartels are running rampant down there. Better wait that out. Yeah, and particularly on that side of the country, fortunately, we're flying into Cancun, and we're not gonna stray outside of the resort. So we're pretty much gonna be airport and take a shuttle to the hotel, and that's pretty much where we're gonna live. There's a golf course there at the resort that we're staying at, so I don't have to go anywhere else to play golf, and I love that golf course anyway. And if you've never been to Cancun, it's pretty much one main drag. And so, there's a mall and some shopping areas down the way and a few restaurants, and, there's people everywhere. So, we may venture into town a little bit, but or down towards the strip, if you will. But that's going to be about the extent of it. We're not, we wanted to go down we really wanted to go see the ruins, the Mayan ruins at Tulum, but as you mentioned, that's like a drive through the jungle, about an hour and a half south of where we're staying, and now's not a good time to do that down there. So, but in Cancun, there are federales running around all over the place with fully automatic weapons, so they seem to be pretty prepared. And that's a big part, the tourist stuff is a big part of their economy. They don't want to hurt that. So, let's see. Just give me a minute to get caught up here. Dave R's Guitar says, Joe, I'd go Katana before I go Viper. Personally, I had a Viper and wasn't thrilled with it. I'm with Dave on that one. If you're gonna go with the go with the kind of the modeling amp route. Even though I guess technically it's not really a modeling amp. I mean, the Katana seems to be the way to go. I've never been all overly impressed with the Vipers either, or even the Line 6 Spiders. They're just the new Line 6 Spiders, I guess, actually probably sound okay. And they just updated the current Spider 5 series, so I'm not sure what they've done to them, but seems to be a pretty big deal, and they're marketing it pretty hard. Fret Level Midnight's with us. So what's up, my dudes? What's up? One like. There's only one like on this live stream so far. I don't know. I can't see all that stuff actually from from my screen here. It doesn't tell me that. So let's see. Park Kingery building bass overdrives and a BE overdrive clone. That'd be cool. I'd really be interested to try out the BE overdrive, the BEOD, if you will. That's a popular pedal. I would actually like to AB that one with the precision drive. Those seem to be the two the two hot item hard rock metal player overdrives. Let's see. Oh, check this out. Joey Van Ostrian says, our baby girl was born on Monday. Congratulations. Congratulations. You brought a little one into the world. Let's see. You guys are talking amongst yourselves. Angelo Ricchetti says, I'm from the Philadelphia, New Jersey area, moved to Oklahoma in 2017. I've got a lot of family in Oklahoma, particularly Oklahoma City. You guys hear my dog going nuts behind me. She saw a bird or something fly by out the window, I'm sure. I've got a lot of family. Both of my parents are from Oklahoma City, and so I have been to that town. I've got a lot of family there. I've been to that city many, many times, and I still couldn't tell you what's there. I love my family that's there, and and I'm always glad to go there to get to see them, because those trips don't happen nearly as often as they used to. So they're trips to see family in Oklahoma City are a little bit more of a commodity than they once were. But when it comes to the city itself, it's not exactly the first place I'd want to visit. They're just, I don't know. Nothing against it, but yeah, it is definitely way, way different than the East Coast. And I'm originally from Houston, and now I'm in the Midwest. These two aren't exactly the same thing either. So, But, you know, sometimes change is good. Sometimes change is good. Let's see. Fretlow Midnight says, if you guys like Jacquard hippie style straps, Walker S. Williams has them on eBay for $15 shipped. Walker and Williams. Okay. Interesting. Good tip. Anybody looking for a strap, go check those out. Working. Joe's an early Viper. Okay, you guys are still talking modeling amps. Alrighty, Gwen's Deranged Hartley Hooligans Fun Channel. So, Robert, what are we going over today? Are we learning about some newer gear updates, gear you don't recommend? What is the schedule of events for today? Man, schedule of events. Yeah, these. If this is the first time that you've hung out with me for a live stream, you know this is really more of just of a a big hangout session, and I answer some questions as they come along. As they come in. We talk about gear, we talk about whatever else may be on my mind or anybody else's mind, and we just hang out, just kind of a good time, and good opportunity for me to interact directly with viewers, and for you guys to interact directly with me, and yeah. So I will tell you though, if you saw the thumbnail and the title, I did have a box arrive this week, yesterday as a matter of fact, and I'm gonna usually what that means, I pull things out of the box here during live streams, and as kind of a teaser for what kind of gear demo videos you can expect to be coming up with here in the near future. So, but as far as an agenda or an itinerary or any of that stuff, I'm going to be honest with you, that is probably about as organized as we get. Let's see. Yep, if you're practicing, I'm with Dave on the headphones thing. For late night practicing, and get a good set of headphones. I recommend these Beyerdynamics headphones. These are extremely comfy because a lot of times, I'm up. Like last night, I was up recording pretty late, and fortunately, I was able to do so silently. And hear what I needed to hear with with my headphones on. Let's see. I'm on my katana. And here's what I use now. You still talk amongst yourselves. Talking amongst yourselves. 100 prefer the option of foot switch. Yeah. Yes, the Yamaha THR-10X, the THR, the THR series amplifiers. Those things are really, really good modeling amps too. And you can, and they're small enough you can basically, set them on a desktop. And they sound really, really good. Yes. Let's see. Jump down on me again. Oh boy, give me a minute here. I'm still trying to get caught up in this feed. You guys are chatty today. David Gabe says, I'm a solder king, no problem. Talking amongst yourselves. But he says, too bad we can't link here. Thanks, YouTube. Really? I've posted links in the chat before. Did that change? Oh well. Let's see. No problem. Just home use. William Woodward has joined us. Says, hello, made it on lunch. Welcome to you, sir. Okay, think katana. There's research. I got the G10. I'm just in Mexico. Search DC after this. Still finding what I want to get. Just okay. Still talking about. Robert, what's your golf handicap? I call it a 16. I call it a 16. Realistically, I'm sure if I actually, did the math on it and stuff, it probably would come out a bit higher than that. I'll be honest, I love to play golf, but I don't play in any club tournaments or anything like that. I like to get together with my friends and go out for a round, and half the time I'll take the scorecard and throw it in the trash at the first tee, and not even pay attention to my score. I'm a pretty avid player, but skilled is a whole nother ballpark. So yeah, so it is what it is. I'm never gonna get my PGA card, I don't think, but I do very, very much enjoy the game. I played a lot when I was a kid, and then I got to about junior high, and I discovered things like girls and beer, and at that point, baseball was about the only thing I didn't give up at that point. So I quit playing golf for a long time, and actually I didn't pick it back up again until here about the last 8 or 9 years. And a couple friends of mine finally talked me into it, so I started playing again, and immediately fell back in love with the game. And there for a while, I was playing 2 or 3 times a week, but I don't. Number one, I don't have that kind of time to do that anymore. And number two, that's expensive, and I'm not making as much money as I was back then. So so now I'm trying to make a commitment to play a couple of times a month, but sometimes that's easier than others. So and my wife likes to come along with me. She likes to ride/drive the golf cart while I'm playing, and it's a good opportunity for us to hang out and spend some time outside together. So do you think all the hype about Dumble amps is warranted? That one's from Nightmare 1690. Do I think all the hype about Dumble amps is warranted? Oh man. Pardon me. I'm kind of on the fence about that. It's because, if you ask me the same question about the 59 Les Paul, my answer is probably going to be yes. That is like the legendary. A lot of people think that the 59 Les Paul is like the holy grail of electric guitars, and I'm actually one of them. There's an entire community out there that knows who owns which 59 Les Paul. The Dumble amps are kind of the amplifier equivalent of that. So now that said, an amplifier is an electronic, pretty much all electronic piece of equipment, and it can be recreated. So it can be recreated more or less with modern day parts and technology and things like that, and it is not difficult at all to get a hold of that Dumble sound if that's what you're after. There's lots of different ways to do it these days. So, from a tonal perspective, I'm never going to pay $90,000 for an amplifier or more. That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But, from a collector's perspective, there's some pretty well-known artists. Carlos Santana, of course, comes to mind among others. But Carlos Santana has a really unique guitar tone, and a lot of that tone came from the Dumble that he's used over the years. So, yeah, kind of depends on what perspective you're looking at it from. Whether it's whether you're looking at it from a from a player's perspective or a collector's perspective, and those are oftentimes anyway two totally separate demographics of the market. So. Let's see. Dave R's Guitars says, to be honest, stereo sounds best. Mono's okay, but to gear all the goodness stereo. You know what? I actually just recorded a video last night that all the guitar parts are recorded in stereo. And here, I'll go ahead and spoil this. Because I was demoing the Digitech Polara reverb. And I sat down, plugged it in, and reverb pedals are cool and everything, but I've other than you adding a little bit of reverb to my overall guitar tone, just just as a little bit of added ambiance, that's pretty much what I've always used reverb for, and I don't use it. I've never really used it as an effect all that much, so. Or like a modulation effect, if you will, like I would use a chorus or a delay. So, this one I got to trying it out, and I thought it sounded really cool, and it kind of inspired me to do some different things. So, the track that I was creating with it, I decided to, because I had stereo outputs, I decided to record all of the guitar parts in stereo, meaning using both outputs from the pedal and going into two inputs on my interface, and then panning them both hard left and hard right. So, and I kind of liked the result. I thought it definitely thickened things up quite a bit from doing it that way. Joe Hervey, who used a spring reverb. I guess I'm not really opposed to any kind of reverb myself. There is a spring reverb on the Digitech Polara that I demoed. I did not use that for the track demo though. I used a few others. Fret Level Midnight says, nicotine for you, cannabis for me. Yep, I will stick to nicotine. Seems to work best for me rather than the mind-altering stuff. Okay. Dave R's Guitar says, Mozzie, you're a good set of studio monitors. If you are looking for a good set of studio monitors and you don't want to pay a whole lot of money, get the Cali Audio LP6s. That's what I use. And, they're $150 a piece, and they sound like they ought to be $500 a piece. Seriously, I cannot believe the clarity that I get out of these studio monitors. They sound amazing, and they've gotten all kinds of great positive feedback and reviews all over the place. If you're trying to find a good pair of inexpensive studio monitors, I don't know why you would buy anything else. My opinion. I almost went with a pair of JBLs, but I decided, because the Cali Audios were out of stock at the time, and I'm glad I held out. Michael D says, my brother-in-law's handicap is 12, not too shabby, but his one friend is about an 8 or 9. I've got one friend that I went to high school with that, I get to, I don't get to play with him very often. He's a busy guy as well, but and I don't think he gets to play golf quite as often as he does. But there are, this guy's a player. We'll play a course and I'll shoot a 97 and he'll shoot a 76. So, and that's and he can do that pretty consistently. So, need a studio for the Okay, still talking amongst yourselves. Hal like Joe Hervey says Hal likes the Joyo Tube Screamer. Who likes the Joyo Tube Screamer? I don't know that I've tried that one, believe it or not. I've tried a lot of Tube Screamers, but I don't know that I've tried that one. Joyo makes pretty good stuff, man. I wouldn't be afraid to spend the money and try one out. Particularly those little Iron Man pedals, Iron Man series pedals they make. Those things sound pretty good. Fret Level Midnight says, you ever try the BEOD by Freeman Robert? I tried it once. I didn't. A buddy of mine has one, and he brought it over one time, and I got to plug into it. I just played through it for 10 minutes or so, and I liked it. I liked it quite a bit, but I didn't really get a chance to really put it through the paces and and try a lot of different things with it. So, but yeah, I dig it quite a bit. Like I said, I would like the chance to AB it up against a precision drive sometime. Yes, Dave is correct. Joyo makes some good pedals for a tight budget. I think they make some good pedals even if you're even if you do have the money. I've got the classic flanger, I think it is, and I enjoy that one quite a bit, as well as a few others. There's a lot of those those teeny tiny little pedal companies that are having pedals built overseas. Like Moore and the BAAAHHX stuff is some of my favorite. And which reminds me, let me finish getting caught up on these comments here, and then I will we'll see what I got in that box. Because I know already, but you guys don't. But those companies are actually putting out some really, really good stuff. I have the BAAAHHX Vigilante Chorus, and I've had that one for a year or two now. And I think I paid like less than $50 for it or something, brand new, and it's a killer chorus pedal. Joseph Campanella is here. Welcome to you. He says, I have a guy trying to sell me a mid-80s Kramer 600 ST. Made in America at $170 for good value. I mean, if you can, depending on the condition anyway, I think most American-made Kramers from the 80s are going to be worth at least $170. If I would not hesitate to jump on that. And, the reason why is because Gibson has just recently relaunched the Kramer line, but they did it the right way this time. And actually, put some effort into, redesigning the different models and stuff. And, from what I can understand, I haven't got my hands on any of them personally yet, but they debuted them at Winter NAMM, and they were again at Summer NAMM here, which I get actually. Summer NAMM still, I think Summer NAMM's still going on right now, actually. But I've talked to a few people that have been, very, very impressed with the new line of Kramer guitars. So, as the new line gains more popularity, the old vintage ones from the '80s are going to start increasing in value, I think. So, yeah, if you can find a USA one from the '80s for $170, I wouldn't even think twice about it. Pardon me. Geargasms. Alan Barnes is here. Says watching from the pool. Being me is pretty sweet. Yeah, especially if you got your own pool. Man, don't you ever work? I mean, you just got back from Mexico too. I mean, like just got back. Or maybe you're still down there for all I know. I'm not sure. Come to think of it, but let's see. Mike Rohde. Oh, message retracted. Dinner perfect. Stay away from caffeine. Murdoch from the A-Team. Paul Fuchs says, any guitars you'd feel confident buying online every time versus trying out first? Oh, man. I might have a little more faith in, in some companies, in buying guitars online rather than maybe I should, to be honest. But, there are some companies, some guitar brands out there that I don't think I've ever seen a bad one. I would not be afraid to buy a Music Man anything online. I think their quality is as good as anybody's. And like I said, I don't think I've ever seen, a bad Music Man out of the box. I've seen, Music Man guitars I didn't like for one reason or another. Or just didn't like the sound of, didn't like the way they played or whatever. But I've never seen one that, had any kind of quality issues out of the box. PRS, same thing. Of course, those are pretty expensive. And Schecter's, Schecter guitars, I think Schecter's quality is, they don't seem to let anything out the door that shouldn't be going out the door. Off the top of my head. A lot of other people seem to have also had, real good luck with the Harley Benton stuff. That 10S brand of guitars. I haven't gotten to play any of those yet, but a lot of people seem to have a lot of confidence in them. Pardon me. I got this freaking frog in my throat and I can't get rid of it yet. So yeah, there's definitely some brands out there that, I wouldn't hesitate at all to buy them online. And nowadays, if they're, you gotta be smart and be careful where you're buying it from, of course. But if you're buying them new anyway, most retailers, if there is a problem, they always seem to be willing to, work things out, so that you can ship it back to them and get if you do need to make an exchange or something. We do that all the time at my place of employment. So, it takes a few days. It's not exactly, not quite as convenient as not always as convenient, I should say, as being able to just go down to the local shop and swap it out there, get it done the same day. But but by doing, buying them online though, you can guarantee that you're going to get one that nobody else. You're the first one to play it out of the box. So unless you're buying an open box model. So yeah, there's a lot of brands that I think are actually putting in a lot of effort to their quality control. Specifically because as so much more of our business is moving to the internet these days, that I mean, they kind of, they have to be able to make sure that, their customers are going to be happy with it right out of the box. So, yes, most Schecters above $400. So, and even if you got a budget below $400, I wouldn't be afraid to buy a Schecter in that price range either. So, the Schecter that I have my eye on right now, I think, is in about the $700 range. So, I've kind of got my heart set on a CR6 right now. Let's see. Park Kingery says, well, I'm in my pajamas eating barbecue. That doesn't sound like a bad afternoon at all to me. I've got, fortunately, I have all my videos filmed and recorded and everything. So, and all the audio is done. I finished that up last night, but I've got to edit 2 videos here this afternoon as soon as we're done. As soon as we're done here. So, I won't, but I may fire up the grill tonight, though, now that I think about it. We'll see. The price, music man, be perfect. God, I hate it when this thing does that. I just keep trying to scroll down to, get caught up on comments, and then I scroll too far too fast, and it jumps like 3 pages down. Then I got to go back up. So if I miss something from one of you guys, by all means, repost your question there in the chat. I'll get to it. Kabayoth. I don't know how that's pronounced. Kabayyoth. Says, does the reverb sale concern you over much? Nah, I'm not. Nah, it doesn't concern me at all. I mean, to be honest, it sounds like that, Reverb, if you hadn't heard, Reverb.com was acquired by Etsy this week. And, it's the way that I think they're pretty much going to be running it, exactly the same that they have been before. For the most part, I think a lot of the same management is probably going to stay in place. They're just now going to be under the Etsy umbrella, and have more financial backing, if you will. So, we'll see now if the seller, if the rates for selling go up, and they start getting up into into eBay rates, then they're then I can see the guitar world, the gear world in general, getting a little upset about it, but at this point, yeah, I'm not too concerned about it. Oh, let's see. Park Kingery says, last new guitar I bought was a Fender Dave Murray Strat. Those are cool. Amazing guitar. By the way, saw Iron Maiden last Monday. Awesome show. I am really hoping to get to see them when they come around. I think they're coming here in August, I believe. But tickets have not made their way to my possession yet, so we'll see. Fret Level Midnight. Robert, do you feel the same about out-of-the-box perfection regarding Sterling or the sub-guitar Music Man makes, or just the real Music Man's? Well, particularly the USA guitars. But that said, even like the Sterling, the Sterling guitars, the imports, and the sub. I'm not sure they're still making any of the sub series of guitars. I think now all the guitars are the Sterling line, and I think the sub brand is reserved specifically for their basses. I haven't played any of those in a while, but everything else, I wouldn't be afraid to. I would not be afraid to order a Sterling Majesty at all. That's what I like about Music Man. You know what you're getting when you pull it out of the box. So. Yep. Yep, Bam Mozzie is correct. The most important thing about buying online is to buy from a great retailer who will help out, maybe even set up before dispatch, etc. Yep, that is correct. Not all online retailers are going to pull it out of the box and set it up for you, and the reason why is because a lot of customers actually, prefer to receive their brand new guitar in a factory sealed box. They don't even want the retailer to pull it out that way. That said, their companies like Sweetwater, they actually do pull them all out of the box and set them up before they ship out. And that's just a service that they provide, and a lot of people appreciate that. So, I personally would rather do the setup on my own brand new guitar, just because some guy in a warehouse, in some other part of the country, he's not going to know what I like. As far as setups go. But, a lot of companies do offer that. And a lot of customers do think it's a nice touch. And that frog in your throat is too much PG in your vape, says Mr. Tudor 007. Hell, I don't know. I have no idea. You could be right. All right. Tell you what, let's check out this box that I got. Ooh. Yeah! I'm just kidding. The truth is, I actually opened this thing up last night. But the only thing I took out of it last night was my wife needed some Heroes earplugs. So those were also part of this order. Speaking of Outlaw effects, I got me one of the Palomino power supplies here. And I'm going to use that here for my desk. I'll talk more about that here in a minute. And I also got that is an MXR Custom Shop Il Diavolo Overdrive that I wanted to try. And I got that for a really, really, really stupid price. And everything else in here are a nice little stash. Rolling cables, various types. So I guess overall that was kind of a lot of build up to what's in the box for not stuff that's not all that exciting. But but let's see. I got said I'm gonna try these rolling mic cables. These things are supposed to be pretty good. So I got a couple of XLRs, and then these are a couple of mono to stereo cables. One XLR, 1/4 inch version, TRS to dual TS that I needed. So I got me some cables, and I got me the Il Diavolo Overdrive, and what the hell was that? I heard some demos of this, and I actually really liked what I heard. So I figured, why not add another overdrive pedal to my collection of overdrive pedals. And last but not least, actually, I guess this is the first thing I pulled out of the box, but as it relates to our conversation today about outlaw effects, I don't know what all this crap is on the box. Box, I guess, got a little scratched up, but this is the Palomino power supply. And I got this because I also have a studio rack on the way, and unfortunately, it's part of the same order, but it didn't get shipped out until at the same time. That one made it out the next morning, so it won't be here until Monday. But once I have the studio rack here in place. That's going to go over here to my right, and the Laney IRT Studio is going to go in the rack, and free up some of my desk space again. And in the meantime, I'm gonna obviously have to reroute some cables and stuff around here as well. But I wanted a small pedal power supply to use here at my desk because I generally never use any more than 2 or 3 pedals out here at a time. This thing has 4 pedal power outputs. 3 9-volt and one, the fourth one you can actually switch back and forth from 9, 12, or 18 volt, and that pretty much covers every pedal that I'm ever going to use out here. It's going to be one of those three voltage requirements. So I thought if I had that set up right here, that would make getting power to pedals out here on my desk a lot easier and seamless, and hopefully be able to save some space. So instead of having to move wall warts and stuff around, and I've got a little a pedal power supply called a Sanyo pedal juice that they came out with about 8 or 9 years ago that has gotten a lot of use. That's actually a rechargeable variety, and I generally like to use that back in my guitar room for when I'm doing like playthrough demos and stuff back there. So all the pedals on the floor I can power with that, so I don't have to go mess with plugging stuff into the wall. But I only have one of those, and there's a few things that I've tried to do with it out here that it did not do. So I decided a small, independent, fully isolated power supply, by the way, would be a good addition to my little studio desk out here. So that's what I did. Let's see. So, to answer the question of the title of this particular live stream, and why Brad Pitt made an appearance in my thumbnail, that is what is in the box. And it is, the Outlaw Effects stuff, as I mentioned. Everything of theirs that I have tried, I have been very, very impressed with, and I think this is the most expensive thing of theirs I've ever bought. That thing only costs like $79. So, they're very, very affordable and very, very well made and very good quality. So, I am looking forward to using that. Let's see. Guitars over a certain... Let's see what else you guys may have talked about. Okay. Dave R's Guitar says, I was surprised by my Jackson SL2Q. Arrived yesterday. It was rather well set up out of the box. Needed a little tweaking for my preference. Even arrived mostly in tune. I'm assuming that, I don't know which one that might be. Was it the SL2Q? I can't recall. Is that if that's one of the USA models, I'm really not that surprised. But if it is one of the import models, like one of the ones that they make in Mexico or something, that's pretty impressive that they came set up that well right out of the box. So, hats off to Jackson and Fender for that. Not a bad thing, just not saying, for the oil finish on U.S. models. Sean Zimmerman is here. At least he was. I'm still pretty far up in the chat here at the moment, so I have not gotten caught up yet. MXR, nice. Okay. You guys are still talking amongst yourselves. Paul Fuchs, Robert's Guitar Dungeon. Best easy on the back chairs seating for playing guitar. Ooh. Easy on the back chairs or seating for play. I generally use if you go to Guitar Center, and I'm sure plenty of other places, I actually bought a keyboard. My main sitting and playing guitar bench, if you will, is actually a keyboard bench. And I spent the extra money. The one I got cost about $69, $79, something like that, to get the one with the memory foam padding in it. And I can I can sit and play pretty comfortably for quite a while on those. I found getting a footrest helps as well, to kind of keep my leg up and the guitar in the proper position on my lap. But I've had good luck with those. I generally don't sit down and except for this chair that I'm sitting in right here. I generally don't sit down in things that have a seat back on them. Because I don't lean back while I play. I tend to basically sit just like I am right now, for the most part. So yeah, I'd recommend get something with memory foam. Drum stools actually are drum thrones rather. Are pretty effective as well. And there's a lot of, of course, there's tons and tons of options out there. The rock and sock thrones are great. Guitar Center carries a brand called the Orange County. That is, which I think is one of their proprietary brands, but they've got actually a really, really nice round-based drum throne that's great for a lot of different things. And and then of course you get into the the tractor style seats and all different kinds of stuff out there. But I have actually thought about getting one of those Orange County drum thrones for my guitar room, so that I have something that sits a little bit lower to the ground, just to try it out, and I'll do that one of these days. But Turkey Trail Honeybee Farm, Georgia is here. And Sean Zimmerman is still here. Awesome. Good deal. Welcome to everybody. If I haven't said hello to everybody yet. Park Kingery says, just an update on PCP pedals. That is Park's Custom Pedals, by the way. That is Park's pedals that he builds. It says learning on designing my own circuit boards instead of modding other people's designs, hoping next year to be 100% on my own. That would be awesome, man. Not that there's anything wrong with any of the work that you've done so far. There certainly is not. I think you're I think the pedals that you have made, the ones that I have tried, have been very, very well made. Very well made. So, okay. Would not have thought of keyboard benches. Yep. Awesome. Yeah, Mike Rohde says I use an armless desk chair, and that is actually something to keep in mind. The arms on this chair actually they don't move and they don't come off. So, I kind of have to scoot forward so that, they don't hit my guitar while I'm playing here. And it's, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but there are, I see a lot of guys on YouTube that are using those DX racer chairs and stuff like that. And I think the arms on those actually, are pretty easily, can be removed and put back on pretty easily, if I understand correctly. So those are, I know I see a lot of studio guys on YouTube that are using those, and I imagine they're probably pretty comfortable. I've thought about getting one myself. I just, that's pretty far down on the gear wish list here at the moment. So, everything, and the arms of this thing are not all that. They don't get in the way that much, but it is something I do have to have to take into consideration when I sit down and sing play guitar. Yeah, sofas are, a lot of them anyway, are not necessarily the best things in the world to sit down and play on. And both my couch up here in my loft and the one downstairs in our living room, those things are made to, for me to sit down and do that. Those things are made to suck me in a lot more than they are, for me to sit down and play guitar productively, So, Paul Fuchs, hey, y'all, don't forget to put your thumb up. Paul Fuchs says, hey, y'all, don't forget to put your thumb up, Robert. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but I think what he is saying is please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button on this video is what he is talking about. Please do not put your thumb up, Robert. That does not sound very, very enjoyable for Robert. Mr. Tudor 007 says, are you a fan of treble booster pedals? If so, what do you recommend? I generally am not. And most of the time when I am playing pedals through an amp, I'm usually playing it through my Randall Diablo. And the clean channel on that is surprisingly very, very good. But it is also very, very bright. And, boost, like, I got to turn the treble control down on most pedals running into that amp quite a bit. The last thing that amp needs is a treble booster going into it. So, that's there. Oh man, yeah. I don't even know that I can make a good recommendation for them, just because most of my amps are actually pretty bright. So I am probably not going to be the guy to make a good recommendation for a treble booster pedal, just to be honest with you. Let's see. I take it that sounds and plays as good as... Okay, video. Pardon me. I mentioned that I was up playing guitar last night, or I was up recording rather last night, and I didn't get to bed till close to 5 o'clock in the morning, so because I want to get all my recording and video, video recording and audio recording and editing, all that stuff done, so that now, once we're done here, and I think I'm going to wrap this up here shortly. The only thing that I have to worry about is me to sit and edit video from this desk for the rest of the afternoon. Hopefully I will have that done here before Mrs. Jackson gets home from work, and we'll see what happens. Then I'll have the rest of the weekend to myself. So. Park Kingery says, looking to get an HSS set of Fishman Fluence pickups. Any experience with the Fishman single coils? Not yet. I haven't got to play any of the Fishman Fluence pickups, unfortunately, and I really, really would like to. Unfortunately, we just haven't. Yeah, I haven't. There's a couple of Ibanez guitars, one in particular that has the Fishmans in it that I would really like to have. However, I haven't that's one of those guitar wish list items that is probably not going to happen for another year or two at this point, if I had to guess. So like I said, I'm going to Mexico in a couple of months. So when you play a Jackson guitar, you can literally say the guitar has your name on it. Yes, I can. I believe it or not, I don't own a Jackson right now. Matter of fact, I don't know. I don't know that I've ever owned a Jackson. I don't think I have now that I think of it. I've owned several Charvels, but I've never owned a Jackson. They are, I love them. I absolutely love Jackson guitars. I don't know why I've never owned one. I mean, I've wanted a DK2M forever, and particularly one in the, particularly one in either Iridescent Swirl or Crimson Swirl. The ones from like the early mid 2000s that were made in Japan. That's one I'd really like to have. So, matter of fact, my Ibanez Xiphos that I have, that one, when I bought that guitar, that would just happen to kind of come cross my path, and the main reason why I bought that one is because I've always wanted a Jackson Warrior, and the Xiphos came my way, and I was like, well, never had a Warrior, but this thing sure is awfully convenient, and it was at a, the price that I paid for it now was, especially by today's standards, is pretty stupid for that guitar. So that just happened to work out. But I've never owned a Jackson. I've always wanted one of the DK2S's or the DK2Ms rather, or the DK2S if I could find one that's not $1,000 or something stupid. I can't believe those things are that expensive nowadays. So I'll own a Jackson here one of these days. Bayamazzi says Fishman seem to be the active pickup of choice right now. They do. They have been a real hot topic. I know. Fluff is real big on them. I think somebody asked him what his favorite pickups are recently, and he said I think that's what he said. I can't remember if it was his favorite pickups or his favorite active pickups, but he was all about the Fishman Fluence. So. Let's see. Your thoughts on Chapman guitars? Got a ghost fret and the neck was really thick. Bit underwhelmed. That one was from Sahila Jagtiani. Jagtiani. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, I actually like the Chapmans. I haven't, Ghost Fret is one of those guitars that's also had my attention as well. Because I love Explorers, and so the Ghost Fret's like right up my alley. But I haven't heard anybody that's actually the first complaint about the neck profile on those guitars that I've heard of. So, I suppose it would all kind of depend on what you're used to playing. If you're used to playing like some, like a really, really ultra thin Ibanez neck or something like that, in which case, there's probably nothing else out there that's going to be thin enough for you. But if there is something, I don't know. It's a personal preference kind of thing. So, Chapman guitars, they've, they're taking off. They've been, now they now have a high-end custom shop in the UK. So they're now getting into the higher end, $3,000 plus guitar market and stuff. So they're, hats off to them. That company's done really, really well in a fairly short amount of time. So, they're mass produced overseas, and I think you probably find one that needs a little more work than others coming out of the box. But let's see. Dave says he just sent me photos, so let's have a look. Oh, okay. Brand spanking new right out of the box. Ooh, that's sharp looking. Is that the Q? That's got to be the Q. The SL2Q, that is. Let's see if you guys can see that from my crappy webcam here. I don't know if you guys can see what he has shared with me or not, but okay, so it's not, resolution's not the greatest, but regardless, that is a sharp looking guitar. The other pictures that that Dave shared with me regarding that are clearly, they're clearly neck through guitars as well. So, or it's clearly a neck through, as soloists are. Nice. Thanks for sharing that, Dave. That's a good looking instrument. So Heel Jack Gianni says the Explorer from Gibson has a thinner neck, but the Ghost Fret Bridge pickup is amazingly hot at 15.5 kilo ohms. Okay, so 15, that's the 15.5 kilo ohms. That's actually that's right in line with like a Duncan JB, believe it or not. So I don't know if it sounds like a JB or not, but that's about the output of that pickup, which is that's my favorite pickup. So I mean that's good to hear. I don't know. I'd have to I need to get a Ghost Fret in my hands to believe it believe it or not. I have not gotten to play one. So, but I see a lot of the other guys on YouTube, like Jared Dines and a lot of those guys, and they've all got a Chapman something or other. Of course, now a couple of them like Rob Scallon and Rabia, they actually have signature models. So I don't think that they actually have a Rob Chapman signature model though. Although I guess the entire company could be considered his signature model since he's the one that started it. Let's see. 3 neck through guitars. Most of my guitars are neck through. Actually, I really, really like neck through guitars. Really like neck through guitars. Like all my, I think I still have one BC Rich guitar left that has a bolt-on neck, and it's an inexpensive Mockingbird. And honestly, I don't play that one much anymore. But when I first got it, I played the hell out of that guitar. But and I do actually still like the neck on it quite a bit, but I don't play it much anymore. But I think that's the only bolt-on BC Rich that I have left. I just, when it comes to BC Rich stuff nowadays, for me, it's neck through or bust. Uh-oh. Dave's sending me more message. Dave's sending me more messages on Facebook. Oh, he's sending me a picture of his guitar wall. Is this the new guitar wall, or is this the one? Is this the like right before he left Northwest? And there's a picture of what he sent me. That Les Paul up there in the top right, I know that's the one that he just got here, not too here in the last year or so. Dave was pretty excited when he got a hold of that guitar. And he sent me pictures of that one right when he bought it, and it's a beautiful Les Paul. Wow, that's sharp, man. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. I feel like I should be sharing pictures of my guitar wall, but you guys see them every time that you turn on a video. Let's see. Paul Fuchs says, Robert's Guitar Dungeon, what would you do for your own signature guitar? Oh, man. What would I do for my own signature guitar? for the longest time, I said I would probably say it would have to be something pointy. So if I did go the pointy, if I did have a company design my own signature guitar route, and I did decide to go the pointy body shape route, it would be probably an Explorer shape. But maybe with the points a little sharper, kind of similar to what a Ghost Fret would be. Or the Explorer EX, the ESP EXP body, if you will. I kind of like those quite a bit. Man, if it were me, boy, God, I don't know what I would do. I would probably have to have. I would likely go with Duncan pickups because I love Duncans. Probably a JB and a Jazz. But I would also probably add an active preamp in there somewhere that I could switch on and off. Specifically for the higher output active pickup sound. So I would probably do something like that. And the other, it would definitely be neck through. And the pickup selector would be up here on the like where it is on a Les Paul, as opposed to down on the horn somewhere. But the pickup selector I would want up high. I really hate pickup selectors that are right around the knobs. They're too close. I can't go and flip it real quick without bumping a knob somewhere, and that drives me crazy. And that's where it seems to be on most guitars. So, I would want it to be, I've always liked it up on the top left shoulder, if you will, where it's located on a Les Paul. So I would definitely make sure that the pickup selector is there. And, probably go, stainless steel frets, like vintage size frets, not the jumbos, so I'd probably go small frets. I like, I'm with Eddie Van Halen on that one. I'm not real big on jumbo frets. I like the small ones. And I would probably have to have a Floyd Rose equipped version and a hardtail or stop tail, or string through body version as well, so that I had the option to play without a trem if I wanted to drop tune something very quickly and easily. Of course, thin neck profile, something similar to what's on my Schecter, the Blackjack that you guys see all the time, or my BC Rich ASM Pro. Something in there. So, yeah, that's something like that is what I would do. I'm sure if I sat here and thought about it more, I would probably come up with a few other features that I would like to have. Coil taps, gotta have coil taps. Coil splits, if you will, I guess. So, Michael D says, use the Mockingbird for your next pedal demo. Actually, believe it or not, the one that I was recording last night, I didn't use the Mockingbird with the bolt-on neck, but I did use my my Mockingbird Special for that one last night. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. That one, that's the first time I've actually recorded with that guitar, and it was, I kind of had to play with some different distortions and preamps and stuff to get a good sound out of it. But hopefully you guys will like what I have done in that particular video. So I actually, as I was writing the material, I was not overly impressed with what I was coming up with, and I still don't think it's the best one the best track demo that I've done. Fortunately, it's just for a YouTube demo, and I don't need to take it all that seriously. But by the time I was done with it and everything, I was relatively pleased and comfortable enough to at least put it out there for everybody. So, let's see. It says Dave is way more excited when he got that 74 Custom in the middle. Yeah, I've always wanted a Les Paul Custom, and I've never been able to afford one. So hopefully one day, that guitar will finally make its way into my collection, but so far it hasn't happened yet. Paul Fuchs says, nice, let's start a campaign with Chapman to get Robert his own signature. I don't know that that's going to happen, man. I think I'm still pretty far under the radar for, when it comes to, the other larger guitar channels on YouTube. I mean, there's a few of them out there that, a few guys that I've communicated with, like, Samurai Guitarist. He's actually a really nice guy. I've chatted back and forth with Henning a bit. But I don't know that I'm big enough that I'm even on any of those guys' radars yet. So, if I ever will be. So probably, certainly I highly doubt that I'm big enough to warrant them, giving me any guitar, much less a signature model. So. Let's see. Let's see. The Squire Contemporary Starcaster at Summer NAMM. That's next. That's on my list next. That was from Michael D. I'll repeat it because I kind of mumbled it. But it says, actually, does anyone see the new Squire Contemporary Starcaster at Summer NAMM? That's on my list next. I have not. Kind of curious to see what it is now. Fabulous Disaster is with us. Welcome. He says, my dream guitar was a custom shop ESP. I have one, and if I try to get something like that again, I may end up on the couch or single. That is a concern of mine. Well, that's one reason why I don't have a Les Paul Custom, because they are expensive. And every time I go to save up for one, I've never, those things are $5,000 now, but they're, even finding a used one still going to be in the $2,200-$2,500 range nowadays. And so, who knows? But the most I've ever spent for any guitar has been my Music Man, and I got that thing for $16. So, oh well, one day. Awesome. Well, guys, that is going to do it here for me, I think. Awesome. I am going to... Well, guys, that is going to do it here for me, I think. That's why that mute button's there. I've got this, this video screen here on my screen that's on the same screen as the chat. And I just looked up and said, oh, that thing's muted. So I clicked the unmute button, and all of a sudden I started talking back to myself. And it was super, super annoying right away. So now I see why that is muted by default. Alrighty. Yeah, so thank you all for joining me here today. Obviously, we've got some new gear that I'm going to do some demos on here in the next coming weeks. And I got to go edit video now. So, yeah, thanks for joining me today, guys. Always means a lot that you take time out of your Saturdays, to come hang out with me. And so I can do this. I do enjoy this quite a bit, as you all know. So, haven't been able to do it quite as often as I once did, as I was, but so we're kind of taking this on a week by week basis. So we'll see. At any rate, thanks, guys. Enjoy, and have everybody enjoy the rest of their weekend.